Here with the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We go ahead and have roll call.
Roger Smonik,
Yep.
Paul Paulson,
Here.
Pam Gillespie,
Here,
Randy Smith,
Here.
James Gibbons,
Here.
Ralph Hammer here. All present and accounted for.
Good.
Great.
Under routine business, have we a motion to approve the agenda that's presented before us?
Also move, Mr. Chair.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Okay, we got a couple of minutes here to look at the previous minutes. If we are finished, do we have a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes?
Also move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Okay. Takes us right into the reports. Terry, budget report.
All right, so as far as revenues, I think our weed and pest grant came in, we got $3,400, so that's listed on here. As far as anything else, everything else is pretty self-explanatory budget-wise, nothing really big surprises coming up here. The only thing that's not reflective on this one is here a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if Russ has talked to you guys about this, but he was coming back to the shop one morning and huge log fell off somebody's vehicle and did damage to the spray pickup. So we have some bills that we had coming out for that. We're figuring $2,500 in damage, $3,000 somewhere in there. So those are the only expenses so far that have probably not reflected in this budget here. So under the repairs. So
What hit his pickup?
it was a big log. He's got a picture of it. After the meeting, he'll have to show it to you. I don't know, like I said, did you call them and let them know? Or didn't you? About this damage. So he can explain it better, but it did some damage. It bent up the front bumper pretty good. It put a big V in that. Did some damage underneath, driving line, had a rim had bent. But, so yeah.
Nobody was hurt.
Yeah, correct. So that is, all the repairs are made already on this. It's back functioning again. Like I said, this probably happened maybe 3 weeks ago, so, but.
Good Lord.
Well, at least nobody got hurt, right?
That's pretty good.
That's right, so.
Did you keep the log?
Well, I thought about it. I thought about chasing them, but
Oh, you saw when it fell off?
I was coming up Highway 11, about a mile and a half south. I'm going 60 coming, and we were probably 50, 75 yards apart, and that bounced off the trailer. I couldn't go left because he was there, and I hit the brakes and went right over the top of it.
I think I've seen this log on the side of the road.
He never slowed down. He may not have known he lost it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it bounced off, and yeah, when it first, there it is in the road, it looked like an air filter off a truck, well, you can't go left or right, it's coming at you at 60.
You're just darn lucky you never got hurt.
Well, it was rolling, if it had been flipping, yeah, it could've went through the grill, through the windshield.
Oh, jeez.
I got all 4 tires off the ground, little Dukes of Hazzard,
Jeez.
might have squared a little bit.
You taking that home, you could have kept warm all winter.
Yeah. Any other questions on budget? We have not ordered any spray yet. I just signed an invoice for Nutrien this morning. We have a couple $1,000s. We're trying a couple different chemicals, just some small amounts, but again, that's not reflective in this budget sheet, so.
Any questions with the budget as it is presented?
So our balance right now is which one, Terry?
Oh.
I just want to double check here.
So it should be 140-ish, it looks like, 145.
147, 401?
There you go.
Yeah, there it is.
Did you do the gazintas on that? Oh, it's over there, right there, yep.
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 Thanks,
You just
Red.
didn't bring it down to the bottom line, so,
Yeah, yep.
okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Spray report?
All right, out of about 640 miles, I got about 580 of it done. I switched up being wet, cold, windy this spring, and I'm spraying basically just the shoulders first, 6 foot or 11 foot. Then I'll go back this fall, solid spray, because the grass is holding the weeds back right now, but they're coming. And after they get their haying and stuff done, and I'll be spot spraying in between now and fall, but we'll go back this fall and go after it. But I've got only about 90 miles left to do, getting all that on the shoulders. And I've got the very first road that I sprayed, I went and looked at yesterday, and now the kochia's starting to come through on that. So that's the chemical Terry was talking about. I'm trying a new one that's specific for kochia, because that's so hard to get rid of, and it flushes like 4 times a year. So
Do
you
you
put,
usually mow before we spray, or do we spray before we mow, or do you guys communicate kind of back and forth?
We
Hey, there's
communicate.
a bad patch over here on 103 or
they let
something
me
like that.
know. I'll start spraying long before they mow, and then
Okay.
when they get into mowing, we keep track of what roads are on, so I don't spray and 3 hours later,
Yeah.
they mow it off.
Yeah, I know my road, I think I saw you spray and they came a couple of weeks later and mowed, so I assumed you guys communicated back
Yep.
and forth.
We do back and forth, and if they see something real bad, they let me know. And now we're gonna start with this, we haven't had a lot of heat days this spring. You know, you can see that on corn and beans, they should be a lot taller, and now we get this warm. Now the weeds will start poking through, and then I'll go be doing my spot spraying, and then towards the end of August, then I'll go out and start solid spraying. Everybody will get their haying and stuff done, and makes it a lot easier for me. And then the beans right now are so tender, I don't wanna be close to any of them. That's kinda why I switched to just doing shoulders.
It's so windy too, so.
Yeah.
it's-
Yeah, if I wanna spray in tea, I go down to Turner County.
So you've got about 100 miles you haven't covered yet, correct?
Correct.
Is that mostly north, south, east, west, or all over?
All over.
Okay.
It depends on the day and the wind.
Sure.
There's days I'll start out spraying the north side of a road and the wind changes and then I gotta go
Yep.
pick a different road. And you get down to that end where now I'm kinda stuck to, I need a wind in the right direction and
Yep.
it's gotta be the right speed. And I did actually go out like 3 in the morning a couple of days just so you can get a couple hours and then by 8 o'clock the wind's too strong.
Yeah.
You play the game, but I'm getting across it.
When you spray, what is it typically, how many hours does it take for that to ingest down to the roots? Is it a
Depends
day?
on your chemical. You take Tordon Milestone, it's pretty much in it within 24 hours, 48's better. If I spray it and they mow it off, then and I have got hooked. We miscommunicate a little bit, or they didn't know where I was at, or they run into trouble and switch to a road, but very seldom we run into something like that.
Okay.
What about getting washed off by rain? How much time do you have there?
2 of the chemicals I use are soon as they're dry, and the other 2 that I use, they want 2 hours, 4 is better.
Yeah.
But I try to avoid being up against that rain because it isn't just the rain being the road. Well, now you got 12 foot of road that's washing into it too, so I really try to avoid the rain the best I can. If it's close, I won't even go out
it's so much spots, downpours so quick.
Yeah. Well, I went to do 105 and I headed up by T. It's raining there, so I had to switch my tips and go to the other end and spray north because it was dry down south, you know. So you got to play the game, and then places I have to stop and go back and get them later. But I got two different chemicals I'm using, and I kind of put them side by side on the road. And this kochia that's so hard to get rid of, it's actually working on it. I'm really impressed. 128, you know, going that way. How dirty that was. I tried one of them early, and it's holding it so far.
Good.
That you use alone, and there's another one I can put in with my regular mix. And I've got that side by side, and they're both doing pretty good. So if I use them at a limited amount, I don't have to raise the cost so far up.
You're actually doing pretty good for as windy as it's been in the last month and a half then. Jeepers, what do you get, 2 days out of a 8 or 9 day period that you can actually spray pretty decent?
About
Back
right.
in April, I started keeping track of weather so I could see sprayable days. And I got like 19 days into it where I couldn't spray, and I give up. I'm not keeping track. I was gonna try and keep track on a calendar, actual sprayable days in the spring. And through April into May there, I only had like 2. Like, I'm done writing on the calendar no every day.
Yeah.
But I do a lot of hand spraying with pickup. I got a reel on it and go out and you get the bad spots. Just keep them held back till now I get to fall, then we both go. And when I'm doing 6 foot or 11 foot, I can cover a lot of miles with a truck, you know.
Now, is that working out pretty good? You had, what did we do, put a bigger sprayer on one of those vehicles, right?
Oh, yeah.
That working out well?
Real good. That really, well, I'm the only one that sprayed this spring. If I didn't have that big truck, I wouldn't be half as far as I am. You know, put a lot of gallons on and go. You know,
How
get-
far up to the fence line can you get now with the boom?
I can go 30 foot, and if you get the right breeze, I can get about 35.
Oh.
But I put it on a truck with an 11 foot and a 30 foot, and then the very back has a little 6 foot. And if I'm just doing the shoulder, I spray 6 foot. Well, 500 gallons, you can do 27 miles with 6 foot. You do about 15, 18 miles with 11, 6 miles with a 30 foot. So, you know, it varies out. And then there's roads that I might use all 3 different tips on it, but it gives me options to where I can keep moving instead of go back to the shop and wait.
Yeah.
Getting there. Some of it's working. Some of it's, my very first road needs to be resprayed. That was done in April, and now the kochia is starting to come through. And I'm gonna use that E2 on that, because that one was really bad.
So which chemical actually kills the kochia?
E2 and Vista are 2 of them that I use. They're a blend of, oh, God, now I'm trying to remember what's in them. I can't think of the chemicals right off, but they're more specific for kochia compared to Milestone Tordon. They'll hurt them if it's real little. Milestone Tordon will get it, but yeah, it's gonna turn around and flush again here in July, so this other lasts a little longer with it. But I don't wanna spray the whole ditch with that E2 or Vista, cause that's waste. You know, I'm just after that shoulder with those 2.
Do we have any other questions about the spray report? Anybody? If not, we'll move on to the equipment report.
Equipment's been doing all right, other than the Dukes of Hazzard with the white truck, got that fixed, up and going again. Big truck works good, Rangers, I haven't done a lot with them yet, just been too wet to even be in the ditch with the Rangers, so that'll be starting here pretty quick. Go out with them, pick roads, and then I can get after trees and brush and stuff with them. Other than that,
Our vehicles, are they gas or diesel? Our pickups?
pickups gas,
Okay,
and then the tandem truck's diesel.
okay.
Yeah, I don't, as long as I don't run over anything else, I shouldn't have any big equipment expenses. The bad part about that wreck was I had an Oreo in my hand, and when I hit it, I lost it. I couldn't find, I was pissed.
You're lucky that's all you lost.
Yeah, that was boom, you see it and he was right there. I couldn't move over, so you just square up on it and hang on.
Anything else from equipment report? Anybody, any questions? Okay, we'll move on to the trouble spots, Russ.
I got there's 9 of them chasing from last year, and 8 of the 9 are getting things done. I haven't got a hold of the one. I've only got about 6 complaints. A couple of them are redos from last year, and I know that some of them get frustrated when they call, they want it mowed the very next day, but no, you gotta follow the rules and chase it down, and haven't had a lot, but I expect that to change because now with the tall grass, the weeds are gonna start coming through, and then thistles are getting up there. Canadians are there, they just haven't made it to the top of the brome yet, because I was out yesterday and walked, and you got brome this tall, but you got Canadians this tall in there, so.
They're starting to flower now too.
Yep, and if we hit this hot, what it's gonna be is flower today and go to seed by Wednesday, and you get that hot, warm weather, but chase it as hard as I can, or legally can.
Not much else you can do about it.
No, that's true.
No, and it's picked a year. Last year got dry and the chemical didn't work. This year which, a year ago we were talking drought and now we're sitting here in wet, so it's a variety.
It's funny how quick things change sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Any questions? If we don't have any questions from those 4 reports, do we have a motion to accept them as given?
I'll make a motion that we accept the budget report from Terry and then the other reports from Russ.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's passed.
Yeah.
Old business. I see no old business. And I see no new business. No announcements?
Just a
Somebody
reminder,
getting
if
married,
anybody
like-
calls you guys on weed stuff, get it to me right away and I will chase it down. If you see
Okay.
anything. Do what I can, follow them up, because the weeds are gonna start coming now.
If they aren't on the list as a noxious weed, do you want us to still call you? Because, some people, what they consider weeds aren't.
Sunflowers,
Weeds.
Yeah.
ragweed, I've had a couple in the past. Technically, I have no legal standing to chase anybody for that, because it's a natural weed.
Water hemp and some of
I don't
those
know if
things
you can
are-
go through planning and zoning as a nuisance. I started chasing that once and I dropped it because, legally I can't chase that. But yeah, I've seen a couple places it's pure sunflowers or ragweed. That would follow under more a nuisance complaint. But if it isn't on the state noxious weed list, then, and there are 23 weeds. There are several of them that we could add on. We only add on the thistles for our county declared. But if we're having a problem with something, if it lands on that list of 23, then, and I can get that list to you guys, you can see if we get a spot where there's lots and lots of that, we can add it on to be able to control that.
Typically, they don't add a new weed to the noxious weed list until we get into like July or August, correct?
We have to review our list, go through it, and then if we want to add on, I have to show how many acres are infested, how bad is it, you guys as a commission say, yes, we need to put it on there, and then we send it to the state, and they'll either approve or don't, which they usually don't deny you if you want to add it, but you got to prove you have enough acres and it's detrimental.
But that typically doesn't happen until later summer, correct?
No, most time that's done in the fall.
Yeah.
And like, I did it last year and we'll do it again this year, where we'll review the weeds that we have declared for our county. And then that's good for 3 years, Ralph? I think
I think it's still 3 years.
They talked about going 5, but I think it's still 3. I'd have to look, but it's, whenever we add it to our county declared list, that lasts for like 3 or 5 years, but,
So,
You get a form
yeah,
in the fall saying, if you want to keep this, you got to do it.
yeah.
how bad is the leafy spurge this year?
It was coming early, and then I think the grass has outdone it. It's still there, but I don't have a lot of bad leafy spurge. I got a spot down on 105. And then you got some over by Hudson in the hills there, and they're good about spraying or mowing that, but it's been wet and windy, so that I know the one guy that he sprays every year because I watch it, but he hasn't been able to get out there either. But yeah, everything's growing really good, so.
Yeah,
And what do you
weren't you
spray?
here about 2 years ago, we had one that they said, in the northern part of the county, we were having trouble with, kind of a bushy weed.
That was a tree,
Oh, that was, yeah, it wasn't really on the list, was
buckthorn,
it?
wild buckthorn.
Yeah,
And that was up in the housing development on the northeast corner up there, and they wanted us to add that to, well, it's gotta be done statewide first. It is in Wisconsin and Minnesota, more rolling hills there, they have trouble with it. With us, there's some up there and there's very little along the river, but no, it isn't. It wouldn't be anything that we could get onto a list.
But it's classified as a tree?
Yeah, it's wild buckthorn. It's a bush. Grows up about like lilacs does. And then, once it gets going, it basically shades everything out and it just slowly takes over groves and stuff. But here, we have enough farming to where it really doesn't get going big in groves where you get more hilly, kind of like Newton Hills area, something like that. It can get going in there.
Okay. Moving on, our next meeting date. Do we have a date identified, Terry, or?
That's usually September, Russ?
Yeah,
That'd be the weed tour.
yeah, September, somewhere in there in September, whatever you guys prefer. And then we have our last one in December.
the third Tuesday again, is that what we're targeting, because we have access to this room?
Yeah,
You have the date there, Jim?
September 17th, I believe.
September 17th,
Yes.
same time, 8:30?
Yes.
I appreciate the fact that they're sending all this stuff out prior to everything, so we can look at it, so
Me
thank
too.
whoever's doing that.
Rhiannon.
Yep.
I know our last meeting, I wasn't able to attend. I was just released from the hospital at that time, so I can tell you that I'm very glad to be here for this
Well,
meeting.
we're glad
And,
you're here,
Glad to
too.
see ya.
Be part of it, so.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, September 17th, 8:30,
Yep, sounds good.
and hope everybody will be here again. Do we have a motion to adjourn if there's nothing else?
So move.
Second,
Second it.
all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye,
Opposed, same sign, motion passed. Thank you, everybody.
thank you.
Thank you.